Hello friends, welcome to Thermomix Adventures. Lisa here. It is a Saturday and I don't normally come to you on Saturdays, but it is dreary, it is wet. We have had 178 mils this morning since midnight. So it is incredibly wet. You might notice I look a little damp. I was just down the front. It's actually eased up, hopefully for good, but I suspect there'll be some more showers through, and was just going down and seeing where all our wood chip has gone and where our driveway has washed to, because with that much rain there was a good, at times, 15-20 centimeters of water on the grass, because it just simply couldn't go anywhere fast enough. So with the dreary weather comes cooking, because what else do you do when you can't go out? And with the Thermomix we have a pantry full of amazing ingredients that we can turn into whatever we like. So I've got some hints and tips today for you. I'm going to actually make puff pastry. If you've never made puff pastry and you still buy it, today's your day. And I'm going to take it one step further and I'm going to make gluten-free puff pastry. So if you're watching them today, remember to say hello. If you're watching replay tonight and you're across the world somewhere, welcome to my Thermomixing adventures. So I'm going to use a Thermomat today. Did you know this tip? Today's video is going to be full of tips as well. When you want to dry one of these silicone mats, and this is a super old one, you can see it's even got markings on it. When you've washed it, put a tea towel behind it and just roll it up, and it takes all the moisture off that. How cool is that? So then it sits in my drawer like that until I go to use it again. So we need a Thermomat. If you don't have a Thermomat, you'll just need maybe a sheet of what's it called, cling wrap to work on, because we want to roll this dough up and let it sit for a while. I will come back and do a second part to this video, which you'll have to watch on YouTube, because you don't want to hang around with me for ages on Facebook. Now, next tip of the day. The new Cookidoo update has come out. It's beautiful. I actually really like it. It's very sleek, but it's confusing some people. When you put something on Cook today, when you go to My Week, this is what confuses you. So if you didn't catch this yesterday, I'm going to tell you today. They're getting here and they're clicking on, and by the way, you can see what I'm turning my puff pastry into. Vanilla slice. So excited. Probably make it dairy free, possibly. I will, yeah, I'm so excited. And so the puff pastry will be at the top and the bottom. But I'm also going to do a double batch, because I'm actually going to also use the leftover ragu from last night. I'm repurposing that shortly at lunchtime to make little pies. Okay, so, and by the way, that ragu, so good. And same with that creamy beef curry using chuck. Like amazing. It just, that meat is so tender, and it's only taken an hour and a half into Thermomix. How cool is that? So anyway, double batch of pastry today, gluten-free. So tips for those of you, and by the way, it's normally not gluten-free, so I'm actually going to be making it with gluten-free flour and giving you those tips. But the thing that's tricking people is they click on the recipe and then they go, oh, I don't want to move to another day and I don't want to add it to a shopping list. What do I do? All you got to do is pick the picture. Okay, click on the picture, and there it is. Some of you might have already caught that from me, because I've been using that display for a long time on the TM6, because I preference that horizontal view as opposed to the down view. So those of you who've been around a while, you knew that. But some of you don't, so that's okay. That's what I'm here for. So puff pastry is a whole of just 3 ingredients. So first things first, I like the iced one because I generally don't have frozen butter. So it gives you that grace to work with it without it going really gross and slimy. So I'm doubling it, so 90 grams, that means 180 grams of ice cubes. Excuse me for one moment, wasn't prepared enough clearly. Alright, out of the ice maker. By the way, I actually don't think I've ever made a double batch. Probably the reason I didn't grasp enough ice. So not too much liquid in this recipe though, because it needs to be drier to come together like a dough. Okay, 180 grams of unsalted butter cut into pieces. Now if you've only got salted butter, it's a-okay for this recipe, because later on it calls for a pinch of salt, and you'll just leave that out. Now it does say frozen, okay? This is where I am never prepared, okay? I don't know, I reckon you guys watch me because you're the kind of unprepared type like me. So this one's perfect, because that ice kind of does the job for us, does enough of that. You can see I'm cutting it in rather large chunks. I did just take the butter out. I was really mindful to make sure I didn't prepare that earlier. I mean, let's be real, I didn't even think to. However, I do know in this recipe it does normally have frozen butter because I've done this one all the time ever since I first made it, and I was like, this is a game changer because I don't have to have that preparation. What are we getting to? We want 360. Be most of my block. That's because I'm doubling, remember guys? You may not be doubling at home. What is this block size? I could have sworn it was 400. Please have enough. Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna have enough. All right. I was relieved when I went out the back. We've now got bees, and I was really relieved when I went out the back to see that the bees were still happily doing their thing, even with the immense amount of rain. So I was like, oh, how's my little bees going? They're good. So you're gonna see, probably I'll take you the day we do the spinning of the honey and extracting it out. I might bring you for some videos that day. I don't know if that's of interest to you or not, but it was my 14-year-old's goal beginning of last year to get bees and learn how to do bees, and my grandfather did bees, so it's not completely foreign to me, but it's been a long time. So yeah, excited about the honey that's to come, and they came with 3/4 full of honey, so heavy but good. 15 seconds speed 10. We may need to take this up a couple more seconds, probably to, you normally add half time on, so we'd add another 7 seconds on, so we'll put that up to 22 seconds, 23, and we'll go up to speed 10 and let this chop down. Now I want to talk gluten-free flour, and I have to talk a bit quick because this does not want to melt, okay? We do not want this to go to a goop at this stage. You can see it's mostly chopped that down. I've doubled it, so there are some ice cubes left. That's okay. So today I'm going to use this, all right, because I bought this the other week when this wasn't available in my local Woolworths. Now this I've used before, but I find you've got to put a little more in it to make it workable. But I'm going to use this today just because I have it, and I'm curious to see how it goes. So let me get into the packet. Hopefully I've got enough. Didn't even think of that. All right, 200 of plain flour. This is a 400 packet. Whew, just. All right. And as I said, I'm not too fussed about the couple of ice cubes left, but I do want to get this happening before it defrosts. We do not want mushy butter mix. Okay, so 400 because I'm doubling it. I might be regretting that decision to double it, guys. So just FYI, my brain is going, oh my goodness, is this going to work? Let's see. All right. Oh, 412. All right, 412 it is. We got a little bit bonus. Now some salt. Oh, it's all solid from the rain. Okay, so about 3 teaspoons of salt, and now we go on with the measuring cup and the lid. Just going to check my ingredients. I think I've done it right, but I just want to check. Recipe details. Does anyone else ever question themselves, or is it just me? Yeah, we're all good. Okay, continue. Let's keep going. Let's spin this up, and it's going to take 5 seconds. We'll probably need to extend that and do it a second time, but let's just see what it does. I'm going to put the spatula in to help it, okay? So I said it probably needed longer. Remember, only use your Thermomix spatula for this because you don't want to chop up anything else. And hindsight's a lovely thing. I probably should have put the spatula in at that blitzing step with the butter and the ice as well. Okay, it's coming together, but I am going to do one more mix. Can you see how it's got the powder up the side still? And gluten-free flour is renowned for being this kind of flaky, powdery stuff. And I've got to say, I've never used this flour before for this purpose. So hopefully it's a straight swap. All right, let's just do that one more time. Let's see if we can get that combining a little bit more. Let's have a look. I can hear the ice cube in there. All right, scrape down the sides with spatula. 2-minute knead, which we will probably have to extend. And when it's done, let's have a look at what that looks like. By the way, this reminds me of when I was a kid and doing the scones with Nana, and you'd have to rub the butter between your fingers. That's kind of what we got here, but that's going to come together nicely on a knead. So it's got a 2-minute knead. We may well need 1 more minute for this, okay? I'm going to put this in and give it a little helping hand with the knead, just because it dances on the top otherwise. I'm just making space on my bench for this next step. I thought, the reason I also went back and looked at the ingredients, I thought I needed cold water, which is hugely important if you're doing pastries. You generally need cold water, but our ice is what's doing the job on that today. I'm going to show you something on the floor. Hang on a second. They have been at my side since I got home from Hobart. They are my cooking companion, my everything. Driving me a little crazy, but it's sweet. Oh, I'm impressed with this. I don't think we will need to extend it. It's coming together nicely. You can hear a couple of those last ice cubes in the bottom, and that's okay. So what are you making on this dreary day today? If it's dreary, or if it's sunshine, what are you making today? I'd love to know what you're making in your Thermomix. Let's inspire each other. Oh, it's looking so good. All right, 40 seconds. Gluten related, even though we have no gluten, when you're making things with flours in it, needs to sit, okay? I'm not sure if you can hear me over the Thermi, so I might just wait a second. Can you guys see it coming together in there? How good that looks? So anything, so it says here about leaving in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Anything with flour needs to kind of relax. Hello, Kate, lovely to have you on today. So look at that. That is beautiful. Okay, it is ready to go. Look at that. But it's I'm going to say it's slimy. Why is it slimy? Because it's the butter and that ice is actually somewhat melting as it absorbs into that flour. So I'm going to now flip it upside down on my mat. I'm going to flick you guys around to see my mat. There you go. And all we're going to do is turn the little cog, and I've got to step over my puppy dogs on the floor. Turn the cog on the bottom, which is this little thing here, okay, inside, and let it drop out. Now that's most of it out, not quite all of it. I will actually be going straight on to make, oh no, I may not be able to. I was going to say I was going to use I'll probably leave this bowl dirty and actually use it for my custard later, for the beautiful vanilla slice. My goodness, because a bit of butter, flour is all ingredients in it anyway. All right, we want to get this into a nice clump, okay? You can see that texture. It actually doesn't want to clump together. Come on. I'm going to have to use my hands. I really don't want to use my hands. Here we go. It needs to come into a clump so that when we roll it out later, that's kind of how it's all one form rather than multitudes of bits. Okay. Now, it is humid here. It is 92% humidity, so it is already melting. You do need to be mindful of that if you live like I do in a humid climate. Get this all together. Come on. Ugh. And the other thing is, as you work it with your hands, obviously your hands are warm, so it's going to melt it as well. So all I'm doing, you can see I'm getting it into one big clump. I'll spin it over, push it all together. I just want it to be one whole unit, not multitudes of parts. You can hear that butter melting. My hands are going to be so slimy. I could be putting flour on, but I'm not worried, because what will happen is as this will solidify in the fridge, and I like to do mine, just a little FYI, I like to start mine as a square. A lot of people make it a ball, right? But then later on when you go to roll it out, you've got this ball to work with. If you start with a square, then you can roll it out as a square. But what I was going to say is that butter will solidify again. It will go back hard. And so when I get it out of the fridge, it won't stick. It'll be fine. It may need flour on it as I roll it because of that melting that's going to happen, and I may need to put it back in the fridge multiple times to kind of compensate for that. So it's not going to rise, it's just going to go in and set, and that's it. There is puff pastry, double batch, ready to go for later. Now I'll come back on later. I'm going to show you how I treat the puff pastry. It's going, hello Jackie, lovely to see you on today as well. I'm going to show you what to do with it. So as I said, I'm trying to get 2 slabs out for a vanilla slice, and then I'm trying to get leftovers to turn the ragu into pies for lunch. So that's the plan from this. Probably going to get it in the fridge. I hope you have a lovely weekend with whatever you're doing. I will share more. So do check that out on YouTube as I plug everything together today. I may even come on later, or I'll record it and do the vanilla part as well, the vanilla custard center. So it's comfort food weekend, people. That's what I'm feeling right now, the comfort food vibes as the rain is raining again outside. Anyway, take care in all you're doing and enjoy your Thermomixing. I'm here to help you, so don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out if you need support. But take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this in half and put half aside back in the fridge for later. And I'm going to then use half of it now. So there's a couple of different ways you can kind of progress from here on in. We can straight away roll it out, which is what I'll be doing with the beautiful pies. But for the pastry, for the custard slice, vanilla slice, I'll actually be making layers with it. So I do need some flour at this stage. We'll get some flour on my mat. And we're going to get this out nice and flat. Now this is going to take up most of the space on this pastry mat by the time I'm done. We'll get it all really out big. Now I may need to put it back in the fridge on occasions because we're going to find that it just is melting too quick in the warmth today. So I'll just put that there. Just didn't grab another mat out. Let's put this on top. Peel off that layer. I've got another one of those scrapers. I'll just scrape this off as well. I'm removing the pastry off my mat so I can use the mat. There we go. So, more flour. Keep the flour up to it a lot. This is otherwise it's gonna stick. It's gonna be hard to work with, especially in the humidity today. Probably not so bad if you don't have the humidity, but we have humidity, lots and lots of humidity. So we want to start with, as I said, the shape we want to finish with. Probably, I guess, for my pies, it really actually doesn't matter. If you're using it like I will be for the vanilla slice, then yeah, you want to start with that rectangle so that you finish with a rectangle. If it gets too hard to work with, back in the fridge. Now I'm not doing layers in this one. When I do this other one later, I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to do with that one. But I'll actually be doing layers into it. See how that's getting sticky in that corner straight away? So let's put some stuff on it, okay? So with the puff pastry, if you want it super flaky, you actually put layers into it. Now what that means is you fold it. So you'd get it rolled out like this, and then you'll do this. And then you'll roll that out again, okay? As I said, for the pies, don't really care, okay? When it comes to the beautiful vanilla slice later, yes, I'll be putting layers in it. Now you don't need to put many in it. The more you put, the more delicate it becomes, and yes, the more fluffy it kind of becomes. You know, like croissant layers and pastry layers, yeah. But not necessary, definitely not necessary. It just depends how fluffy you want it to be. Being that this is going to be both the bottom pastry and the top pastry, I'm not fussed. Okay, remember this is as well, I've made it gluten-free today. You don't have to though, you could be using your plain baker's flour, okay, or plain flour would even work in this case. So I'm just trying to roll this back together. Being that I'm making circles in a minute, I'm not too worried, but I do want to have it nice and thin. This here is about 3/4 centimeter and too thick, okay, it's not going to cut nicely, it's going to be too much pastry for the amount of sauce, gravy, ragu. So now as I get thinner, it's also going to be harder to roll out in the sense that it's going to start melting faster because it doesn't have that thickness to it. Put some more stuff under there. So I just have to be mindful of that. If you've got it rolled out to here but it starts getting unworkable, roll it up. So use your Thermo mat to actually roll it up so you can work with it later. You do need to let it out and kind of soften momentarily, not long on the bench, just so that you can use it. But there we go, look at that. I now have this big slab ready to go. So all I gotta do now is get my cutter for my beautiful pies. I'm gonna cut out my circles and I'm gonna put the mixture in it, put the lid on with the other circle, cook it in the pastry pie little maker, and lunch is ready. And I will come back later and do this one where it'll have some layers into it. Not as much flour as you saw me when I talked about it a second ago. That will make it too like you can see here, for example, let me just put you down here. So I've got a bit of a split in it here. Now because I've got so much flour between it, I actually can't make them stick. They don't want to stick. So you really don't want to have flour between them when you're doing those layers. Okay, you just want to be putting it on top, rolling it out, and then working with it from there. But it does definitely make it fluffier. It's well worth doing. So I'll show you a final product picture shortly, but I hope this has inspired you to give puff pastry a go. It really isn't hard. Just keep the flour up to it, and if it gets unworkable and sticky, slide it back in the fridge and get it out in 5 minutes time and do it all again. But otherwise, enjoy, have a fantastic weekend, take care, and I'll talk to you in the next video soon. Bye for now.